Who's actually going to get the most out of a 15 cubic foot glass door cooler? And who might be better off spending that money elsewhere? If you're the type of buyer who's already imagined the fridge humming quietly behind the bar, the shelves holding a mix of sodas, craft beers, and bottled water, but you're also wondering whether the price makes sense for a regular hour CAF versus a high-volume nightclub, this is the kind of decision you'll hear me wrestle with. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. I've spent the last few weeks looking at a handful of commercial beverage chillers that promise fast and efficient cooling, auto-closing doors, and low-noise operation. Most of the time, the marketing copy feels like a laundry list that never tells you what it actually means when the unit is plugged into a small back-of-house space that already has a few other appliances running. The Volivi Store 24.5-inch glass door display fridge stands out because it tries to balance the visual appeal of a retail display with the practicality of a workhorse cooler. The question is whether that balance holds up when you actually load it with a day's worth of orders. First, let's talk about the kind of environment where this fridge shines. Imagine a neighborhood coffee shop that wants to showcase its cold brew bottles, a rotating selection of artisan sodas, and a few cases of sparkling water. The 15 cup capacity translates to roughly 350 liters, which is enough to hold about 150 standard size cans plus a handful of larger bottles. With 4 adjustable wire shelves, you can dedicate a lower tier to taller bottles and keep the middle shelves packed with cans that fit snugly. The tempered glass door isn't just for looks. It lets customers see the stock at a glance, which can drive impulse purchases without opening the door and losing cold air. In a real-world scenario, I watched a bar manager set the shelves so that the most popular craft beers sat at eye level, while the premium imports were placed a bit higher. The auto-closing door kept the temperature stable even when the bar staff were busy juggling trays, because the door swings back on its own after a quick grab. Now, if you run a high-traffic venue where the cooler is open dozens of times an hour, think a stadium concession stand or a busy nightclub, there are a couple of trade-offs to weigh. The fast cooling claim comes from a high-performance compressor, and in tests the unit pulled the temperature down to the low 40 SF range within an hour of being fully loaded. That's fine for most beverage types, but the system is also designed to be low noise, which means it won't shout over a crowded floor. However, the low noise motor tends to run at a modest speed, so if you need a rapid chill for a large influx of new stock mid-shift, you might notice a slight lag before the internal temperature stabilizes again. It's not a deal breaker for most establishments, but it's a hidden nuance that only shows up when you're constantly restocking under pressure. One of the biggest practical strengths is the auto defrost system. In a commercial fridge that sits open frequently, frost buildup can become a maintenance nightmare, forcing you to schedule manual defrost cycles that interrupt service. This model handles it on its own, so the glass door stays clear and you don't have to carve out time each week to scrape ice. The LED display on the front gives you a quick read on the current temperature, and because it's backlit, you can glance at it even in dimly lit bars without having to pull out a phone. That little convenience can save a shift manager a few seconds a day, which adds up when you're juggling multiple stations. On the flip side, the freestanding design means you need to allocate a dedicated floor space that can support the unit's weight, roughly 250 pounds, when fully stocked. If you're in a cramped kitchen or you plan to move the fridge around often, you'll want to consider the built-in casters. They're functional, but they're not heavy-duty industrial wheels. They're better suited for occasional repositioning rather than daily rolling. In one user comment I saw, a small bakery tried to push the fridge onto a slightly uneven tile floor and ended up scratching the tempered glass door after a few weeks. That's a reminder that while the unit is marketed as easy mobility, you still need a relatively flat, stable surface. Who should buy this? If you're a small to medium coffee shop, a boutique wine bar, or a restaurant that wants to showcase a curated selection of drinks without breaking the bank, the Volivi glass door cooler offers a solid mix of visibility, capacity, and quiet operation. The adjustable shelves let you fine-tune the layout for a mix of cans, bottles, and even small kegs, and the auto-closing door means you won't waste energy when the door is left ajar for a few seconds. For owners who value a presentable front-of-house look and don't need a heavy-duty industrial unit, this fridge hits the sweet spot. Who should skip it? If you run